Welcome to today's video. Micah 6 verse 8 explained. He has shewed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. The book of Micah is one of the minor prophets in the Old Testament. Micah prophesied during a time when Israel and Judah were facing external threats and internal corruption. The people were led by rulers who often neglected justice and fairness, and the spiritual state of the nation was decaying. Micah's message aimed to call people back to true worship and faithful living before God, confronting the false religiosity that existed during his time. In the earlier chapters, Micah proclaims God's displeasure with Israel for their rebellion and idol worship. Chapter 6 begins with a powerful scene where God, through the prophet, essentially puts the people on trial, asking them to consider what he has done for them and why they have abandoned his ways. This verse, Micah 6 verse 8, comes as a summary statement in which God clarifies what he really requires from his people, boiling down the essence of how they should live in three clear actions: to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. Micah 6 verse 8 is an answer to a question implied in the previous verses: what does God want from his people? This verse is both simple and profound. It outlines not just what God desires from the nation of Israel, but also a timeless message for all who follow him. Let's break it down. First, to do justly refers to acting in a way that is fair and right in all our dealings with others. Justice here isn't merely about legal fairness, but a way of life where we treat everyone with respect and righteousness, standing up for those who cannot stand for themselves and making decisions that reflect God's character of fairness and truth. The Israelites had lost sight of this, and Micah calls them, and us, back to a life of integrity. Next, to love mercy speaks to having a deep affection and dedication toward kindness and compassion. Mercy is often linked with God's grace, and here we are called to not only show mercy but to love it. This means that kindness and forgiveness should not be burdensome tasks but something we cherish and are eager to demonstrate. In our relationships, whether with family, friends, or even strangers, we are called to extend forgiveness, kindness, and compassion, just as God has extended it to us. Finally, to walk humbly with thy God points to our relationship with the Creator. To walk humbly means to recognize our dependence on God and to live in a way that reflects reverence and submission to His will. It's a call to humility, where we acknowledge that we are not in control, and our lives should be aligned with God's purposes. Walking humbly contrasts with the pride and self-centeredness often displayed by those in power during Micah's time. For us, it means allowing God to guide our steps, living in a way that honors Him, and resisting the urge to elevate ourselves above others or above God. The beauty of Micah 6 verse 8 lies in its simplicity. Rather than giving a long list of rules or rituals, God distills His expectations into three key principles. Each of these, justice, mercy, and humility, reflects the heart of God's character. Justice reflects God's fairness. Throughout the Bible, we see God as a just judge who desires that His people live in a way that promotes fairness, equality, and truth. The call to justice here is not passive, it's active. We are to pursue justice in our communities, our workplaces, and our homes. Mercy reflects God's kindness and compassion. In the same way God shows us unmerited grace and forgiveness, we are called to show it to others. It's not enough to occasionally show mercy, we are to love it. This means that we should delight in opportunities to show kindness, even to those who don't deserve it, just as God does with us. Humility reflects our proper place before God. Walking humbly is an acknowledgement of God's greatness and our dependence on Him. It's about living a life that points back to God's goodness, not our own achievements. Humility allows us to serve others without expecting recognition or reward, and it helps us stay grounded in our faith. Together, these three commands, justice, mercy, and humility, offer a full picture of what it looks like to live a life that pleases God. These are not burdensome requirements, but rather a way of life that brings us into deeper relationship with God and others. Now, how can we apply Micah 6 verse 8 to our daily lives? First, in our pursuit of justice, we can start small by being honest in our dealings, standing up for fairness in our communities, and helping those who are oppressed or marginalized. Whether it's advocating for a friend being treated unfairly or contributing to social causes that promote justice, we are called to act. In terms of mercy, we can practice kindness daily. Think about the times when people wrong us. How often do we hold grudges or find it difficult to forgive? Micah 6 verse 8 challenges us to be proactive in offering forgiveness and showing love, even to those who hurt us. Mercy is a reflection of God's love, and when we show mercy, we demonstrate His love to the world. Walking humbly with God is a call to live a life of surrender. This can be done through regular prayer, seeking God's guidance in decision-making, and keeping a posture of humility in our achievements. Rather than taking credit for our successes, we should recognize that it's God who gives us strength and opportunities. Walking humbly also means putting others before ourselves, not seeking recognition, and living in a way that draws others to the humility and grace of Jesus Christ. By living out these principles, we fulfill what God requires of us. We reflect His heart, and we live out His love in a world that desperately needs to see it. Micah 6 verse 8 isn't just a verse to memorize, it's a call to action in every aspect of our lives. Thank you for watching today's video on Micah 6 verse 8 explained. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more biblical insights. May God bless you as you seek to live out His justice, love His mercy, and walk humbly with Him every day.